Investing insights with Right Property Group, exploring trends in real estate and helping property investors gain financial security.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to Property Investing Insights. And the feedback was, where are your high-flying clients, and where are your clients with style? So I have delivered, and I have got Daniel Lever here, a pilot, and Bethany Lever, a stylist, a property stylist, and took a while to get this organized because of your schedules and also because I don't like working but we're here, and really what I wanted to do was share your journey, because we've gone through a rapid acquisition phase, and we certainly had some interesting purchases along the way. It's still a portfolio that's under progress, but first I'd like to really talk about you two first as to what you do. So Danny, I'll start with you. Background.
So yeah, I'm a pilot. I've been doing that for quite a while now. And that's all I know, basically. Yeah. Just since I finished school, became a pilot. And
so what, did you fall into it, or was it a passion?
It was a passion, in high school and things like that. And then just learned to fly after school, and then after that, it just morphs into getting a job and traveling all over Australia and things like that. And then here I am in Sydney. Yeah.
And so COVID would have been hard with being a pilot.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it depends. There was a few different, all your air ambulance and all those sort of guys were still flying and things like that. But a lot of the commercial guys, they were out of work. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So for quite a while, especially the international as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Some up to 2 years, especially.
So you had a lot of spare time on your hands.
A little bit, yeah. We were lucky because we just had a little boy. So he was only 10 months old.
Probably a blessing in disguise then, right?
It was. It was. Yeah.
You get to spend a lot of time with him.
I spent a lot of time with him.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
Yeah. And so Beth basically went to work, and I sat at home and looked after him.
Fantastic.
For ages. Yeah.
That's good.
It was good.
Yeah, and you, Bethany, I must give a big shout out with the fantastic work you've done at our office. You helped style the office, and of course the girls love it.
Thank you.
But you fell into styling.
Yeah, so I think it came about when Danny and we had renovated a house in Panania, and we had got it styled. And even though I loved the renovation side of things, I really enjoyed watching them style it and things like that. And I thought maybe I could get into this side of things. So ended up studying and tried to get a job, and realised it's quite hard to get a job in property styling if you don't have experience, back in the day. So I thought, I'll just start my own business then.
As you do.
Yeah, as you do. As you do. And 8 or 9 years later, here I am.
Right. And so it's been a journey, and obviously the way property markets have changed, where even in the lower socioeconomic areas, people are styling their properties to get a result.
Yeah, definitely. So, I know for us, we style, every day, just basic Australian homes, through to luxury brand new homes, developments, duplexes and things like that as well. So, we do a whole range of properties.
So you get a secret wish fulfilled, because you get to style properties, you get to buy furniture, hire furniture for all types of homes.
I get to buy furniture every week, so it's every woman's dream come true, right?
That's right.
Danny doesn't get a say.
No. It was interesting, like in the early days, it took a little while for real estate agents to
cotton onto it.
Cotton onto it with the styling. Like, not everyone would do it. But then after a while, they saw results and things like that, and then it's quite prominent now.
I think it's more also because the vendors had to really come to terms with that. Okay, if you have physical furniture in the place, it gives a homely feel. It gets a better price. Because people are visual, right? People make the decisions based on sight and smell, and if you can look, touch, and feel it,
emotional connection.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. And I think as well that if you're not styling your property for sale, but what if your competitors, other properties in your suburb, are you getting left behind? You know, so it's almost like you've got to do it to keep up with what's going on, in your area and your market.
So if it's a house that you're selling, if you're selling your home, Bethany is the person that you need to talk to. She'll give you a few tips. So let's talk about the journey, right? So we started around COVID. And we got in touch, and I think you already had a portfolio that had started. And you also had a lifestyle property as well, which we've been to. And it's a fantastic, it's a fantastic place. Love the horses, love the little river in the end.
At the end, So it's not a bad little spot.
So how did this journey start?
A little while ago. Where did we start? So we wanted to live on an acreage sort of property, and we kept on missing out on a few places. And so it got to the stage where we thought, well, we need just that little bit more sort of deposit. And that was where we went, look, we could probably buy some other places, maybe do a renovation, a flip, and then all of a sudden we've got this deposit. And it worked.
Kind of. It started a bit before that, though. I think.
Did start before that, But that's what we did that, and then we sort of had enough money to buy our own personal place,
and
residency.
How long ago have you bought your place?
10 years.
10 years.
Just over 10 years now.
So just before the acreage market started taking off in Sydney, isn't it?
And I was just saying to Danny, I think we bought. I'd said to Danny, if we're going to move in together, I don't want to move into the eastern suburbs. I've got horses. I want to stay out on acreage. So you've got to move out and be out near where I am. And Danny said, well, I'm not moving out into suburbia. We need to buy acreage then. And so that's pretty well what we did. But I think a lot of people around our age, that was when there was a lot of housing development going on, Oran Park and Spring Farm. And I think a lot of people our age were so focused on buying in there, buying that brand new home and, building their dream home. And no one our age was looking at acreage at all. Whereas 10 years later, it's
the vogue, isn't it?
It's the
vogue, the new thing,
so. Like there were houses on the market we were looking at, and they'd been on the market for 2.5 years, 9 months. Well, our place we bought was 9 or 10 months on the market. You sort of turn up and the agent, but what are you doing here? Like what,
you guys are too young.
Do you really want this place? It's a lot of work. All this sort of stuff. They're like, we're interested.
You're good for it.
We're ready to go. But that's it's great, and it's good for the kids and all that. Now that we have kids, and so growing up, it'll be good fun. For them.
Absolutely.
So we're quite lucky in that sense.
And you touched on something, right? So a lot of people when they get started, they're after that shiny property, and then they get stuck because they can't really leverage from there into the next one because they've pretty much paid what everyone else has paid. There's no X factor on the property.
That's true.
And really, what are we doing this for? And there's no right and wrong, right? Because it's personal preferences. But your journey really started with, okay, you've got the good cornerstone property, which is the acreage. And then COVID hit, and they started looking at your options as to what to do.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So I think backtracking a little bit, we had bought before our own home. We had bought properties beforehand as well. So when I was in school or finishing school, my dad had said, I didn't want to go to uni. It just wasn't what I was interested in doing. And he'd said, well, if you get a full-time job, I'll put up a deposit and we can buy a house together.
Right.
And you can, you've got to pay your portion of, the repayments and things like that. But you need to come up on your days off and we're going to renovate it together and you're going to learn, how to renovate and I guess how houses get built, like what step needs to go first. But I had to do the physical work as well, which was great. And I remember Danny came with me, and this was in our
Singleton. This
house is in Singleton, mining town, and we had this lounge room. It was ready for painting. And Danny and I thought, perfect, we'll get this done before lunch. And then we're going out for lunch. And
I was still painting at night time.
it took us all day. But
Took us all day.
so we just didn't know how long things took,
Yep.
you know. But
Yeah.
we soon learned, you know, all that decorative cornicing took forever to paint.
It does. It does.
Oh my God.
So,
Yeah.
you know, so that property was a good learning curve in terms of, learning how things
Yeah.
Yeah.
go.
One of the things I learned when I was learning the ropes was we'd use an airless spray gun and spray
Oh, yeah,
everything,
that would've been
spray
pretty good.
everything
Yeah, we weren't
the
smart
same
enough
color.
back then.
No. And then just pick a trim and paint it a different color. You get it done.
True.
Right? So
Yeah.
I remember doing a duplex in Haberfield, which is the inner city,
Oh,
Yeah.
and that was the first time I used a airless spray gun.
Yeah.
I think more paint ended up on me than on the walls. So.
Yeah.
And they're really hard to clean those
They
things.
are
Yeah.
very hard to clean. Yes, yeah. So that was obviously you got real life education as
Yeah.
opposed to
Definitely.
being handed down stuff. So you actually were taught, right? So that
Yes.
gave you the hunger for properties.
Yeah.
And so what happened next once you've had that property?
So my dad and I kept that for a few years, and it was rented out. And then once my dad was in the mines, so once he, sort of left the mines, we ended up selling that property. But not long after, I think Singleton
I
was
bought
done.
that-
Danny bought his
that
own
unit.
property. Yeah, in the eastern
Kensington,
suburbs.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, just a 2-bedroom unit. Yeah,
Mm.
it was sort of a thing. I was late 20s, early 30s, and all my mates were we were just all buying in that same area where we lived, and so that's I had enough for a deposit and
Yep.
bought a place there, and I procrastinated for a long time
Yeah.
on that place and all these different places, and I never pulled the trigger. Nothing was perfect,
Mm-hmm.
and I think someone said to me, you're not going to live there forever.
Yep.
And I go, oh right, and then end up buying a place literally a week or two later,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I lived there for 10 months.
Yeah.
10 months. That was it. That was
But
terrible.
you've still got that property
Still got it.
today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the secret is, right, so you've bought in the right area, you bought with a owner-occupier mindset.
Yes, it
right?
was, yeah,
A-
yeah.
And therefore it worked out, right?
Yeah.
And that's perhaps if we take away all of the checklists and if there's only one tick point, it would be that it needs to be suitable for an owner-occupier, not be investor-driven,
Yes.
right? And it can't go wrong that way.
Yeah,
Very
definitely.
true. Very
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
So obviously after Kensington, you then bought the acreage, or you bought a few more properties?
We bought Panania, I think.
Yeah,
after
the
that.
place in Panania, that's the one that we renovated. Yeah, we found that place there. It was in a close-knit train lines, and it was all, it sort of, I don't know, in our mind ticked the boxes. But what we realised is that there was a lot of developers in that area
Yes.
that were buying these blocks and knocking it down, putting on a duplex.
Mm.
And the duplex was selling for
I think they were like mid to high sevens.
mid to high sevens. And we found a house for early 500s.
Yep.
And we thought, hang on, we could just do this up.
Mm.
Surely we'll get that sort of price, 700 or thereabouts.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was,
That's what
it
we
was
did.
sort of a no-brainer, really.
Yeah,
I think
it
that
was really
property
clear.
Yeah.
It was really clear. You couldn't do a development on that site because it was the wrong sort of site sort of thing. But you could do it up and it looked nice and then sell it on, and which is what we did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which year was this?
Must have been 2013. It
13.
was just
Right,
before.
okay.
2013. Yeah.
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 So the reason we bought that property was because we had been trying to buy acreage.
Yeah. In
And
2012.
there was a particular property that we really wanted, and to this day we still talk about this property that we'd never bought because we just didn't have the money. I think we were about $100,000 too short,
Right.
and we were just so cranky, that we missed out on that property, and we thought we need an extra $100,000. And so we thought, right, we'll go and buy a property, do a renovation, sell, so that we've got some more money so we
just
can
be
buy.
active, do something.
Okay, yeah.
Not
Buy
just
what we
wait
want.
and save in the bank. Just
So you're creating the money.
try
Yeah.
do something. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
at least have a go.
But
Yeah.
it was kind of a no-brainer with that, because I think that property was $529. I think we bought it for,
Yep.
and duplexes were selling, mid to high sevens. We thought, well, if we can renovate a house, and if it can look, surely someone will pay mid to high, say
Yes.
even mid sevens because it's a house, even though it's not brand new, but it's renovated. And it worked out. So
Yeah, so you couldn't make it fail, right? The numbers couldn't fail.
no,
Yeah.
Pretty good logic, I thought.
Yeah.
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 Which
So-
is
Yeah.
so there was no speculation in it. It was real
No.
hardcore maths.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yep.
And I think as well, I remember the agent was telling people at the open home, it had water damage, or it had some
Yep.
sort of damage in the ceiling.
Mm.
It was just because there was a little bit of cornice, maybe the size of like a small dinner plate, was missing.
Yep.
Turned out it was just damaged. It wasn't.
wrong with
There
it.
was no actual water damage in the ceiling or anything,
Yeah.
but it turned everyone off.
Yeah.
Right.
So-
It was an ugly duckling. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it looked all right. Yeah.
Came
It's
up
a
all right.
secret of property,
Yeah.
successful property investing is to find a problem that's easily fixable and fix it.
Yeah.
Right? And then you untap the value
Yes.
of the property.
Yeah.
Which is what we've done in the
Absolutely.
portfolio as we
Yeah.
put it together, right?
Yeah.
Because one of the things that I'm very passionate about is that we need to build a portfolio along with the skill set
Yeah.
that the investor has, so that we can then maximize the bang for buck. Right. So, obviously, how long did you hold Panania for?
I think that was about 9
9
months in
9 months.
total.
Okay.
Yeah, like
Between.
This seems to be a trend, right? 7 months, 9 months.
Yeah, I know what happens there.
it was literally and we went.
So
to
you're
auction.
living in this while you're renovating?
Technically, yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we got rid of it. Yeah, went
Yeah.
to auction, but it didn't sell at auction. Yeah, and so then we sold it a couple months later.
Mhm.
Yeah.
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 It was just after Christmas, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And
And then we were right to go then, and then we.
Then that's when you got your acreage.
Yes.
After
Then
that.
we got the
Right.
acreage
Yeah,
reporting.
so went looking again. Yeah.
Yeah. So how long did it take you to get the acreage itself after Panania?
Not long.
No.
I think we sold Panania maybe in February, and we bought
June, July.
the acreage in June.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but again, it had been on the market for a while,
Mm.
and it wasn't really what we were looking for. We really wanted 100 acres, and that was really stuck in our mind to buy
Yes.
100 acres.
Yeah.
But there wasn't really
It's
anything.
kind of shifted as well. The price had kind of shifted by that
Yeah.
stage, just within a year or two.
Mm.
Yeah, quite substantially. Yeah, and there wasn't actually a lot on the market of those
Yep.
sort of sized lots.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mm.
where before a year or two before there was
there was
a
good half a dozen,
there was a fair
maybe.
few.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they'd just been sitting there like dormant for a long time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the place we got is good. Yeah.
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 How many
Yeah.
acres are we sitting on?
13.
13 acres.
Yeah.
13.
Yep.
I think it's
lucky
been sort of-
13.
Lucky
It is,
13. Yeah.
I know. Lucky for us.
Yeah, it's good. It's on a
It's
corner
been-
block,
Yeah.
and it's just got 2 accesses and
Mhm.
a couple of dams and
Mm.
pretty
I mean,
pretty
there's-
level.
Even now, there's development happening.
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
You know, beside, literally
Across
next
the
door to
road.
us.
Yeah.
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 You know,
Starting to
so
happen, starting to
things are
happen, yeah.
slowly changing
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. And you've got your own windmill.
We do.
Yes.
We do. I was adamant about getting that windmill.
that was a mission. That was a mission
That was a
building
mission.
that thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, moving it and it was a
Was-
mission. Yeah,
yeah.
it looks good though.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah, and I've seen it.
Yeah.
So, and obviously, right. So this is where a lot of people think, okay, lifestyle. Maybe we'll do it later in our life, but you're still working, so you still have to
Yeah.
travel to the airport, and it's a fair ways away when you really look at
Yeah.
it from traffic wise, right? And it's a conscious effort to say, okay, I'm going to do this for the next few years. And then this becomes our retirement place, or maybe this becomes a leverage place that we get into for the next bigger acreage.
Yeah.
We don't know.
You don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty, it's kind of, we're still sort of at both options really on that.
Yeah.
Aren't we?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know.
You never know what could come up. Yeah, absolutely.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this thought process that really need to be buying close to the city, really need to be easy travel distance. It depends on what the intent is on the property. Certainly might not be such a good investment property, but it's
No.
definitely a home. Right?
Yes.
And that's it's different fundamentals we look at as opposed to finding
Investment.
properties, investments, right? So let's talk about investments then. As
Sure.
after the acreage,
Yes.
what's the journey look like? What triggered the journey itself?
We were sort of on a bit of a roll then after doing that flip on that place in Panania,
Mhm.
and we actually started looking for other properties. So we were
Yep.
looking around Penrith Way and Campbelltown, and that was our strategy. And we only knew one strategy,
Mhm.
and
That was
Because
buy,
it was
renovate
work.
and sell.
Because it worked.
because it worked,
Yeah.
yeah. And then we were looking at all these numbers at these other places, and that's not going to work. None of these numbers are going to work. But they were probably the places where you should have just been buying and holding. them.
Holding. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that just wasn't our strategy
No, it wasn't.
back then.
Yeah, and so we ended up we just needed to get some help. So we got a buyer's agent, and we bought some places in the Gold Coast.
Yep.
Yeah, and they were townhouses, and it was quite a bit of a lull up there, I suppose, at the time. Yeah, but it was good. Yeah, really good, and we still got them today. Yeah.
And they would have performed really well over the
They
years,
have.
right? Because from when I understand you bought them, that was at the bottom of the market there.
Yes.
And it's done its time.
Yes.
And the rents are really good over there at the moment.
Rents have really caught up. Yeah, rents have really caught up, and nothing really happened for quite a while on those, and then just all of a sudden, it took off. Yeah, it took off. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we bought 3 up there. I think didn't we? Yeah.
3 townhouses. Yeah.
Yeah.
Two in our own names and 1 in super.
Right.
Yeah.
And so after that, then you had a bit of a lull period again.
Yeah, a little bit of a lull period because I think we were starting your business. Yeah. And then we were starting the styling business, and it was also probably around 15, 16, 17, and lending got a bit tricky.
Yes.
Around that time, and also with having a business, you needed 2 years or 1 or 2 years of returns, and so we'll just sit on our hands for a while.
Yeah.
And we did that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just waited.
Yeah. So a lot of people when they start investing, they expect a continuous journey, a continuous acquisition, right? But it never happens that way,
No.
right? It's fits and bursts.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing is the lending side of it and solving the lending. And so owning a business, that adds another layer of complication to the lending itself. So were the banks liking you? Are they liking you now? What's the story?
They seem to like us now. They didn't, for... I guess we're just busy, I think. We got married and then, just building the business. And I think we were just so focused on that we weren't really even trying to get lending, really, were we?
No, we weren't, no. But then when we did try to get lending, it was tough initially.
Tough for a year or so.
Until we found the right brokers to use that knew what we wanted to achieve.
Yeah.
But it was initially.
I think we went through a few brokers, didn't we? And then finally found someone who would be able to figure it out for us.
Yep.
So
you put us in touch with them.
Yeah.
And it's important, right? Because look, all brokers have got access to the similar lenders, right?
Yeah.
But it's how they're wired makes the difference, and them understanding how they can, with using the same financials, look at different scenarios with different banks and say, okay, this is an exception policy with this bank and we can go with them.
Sure.
Yes.
As opposed to, say, the big 4. And it does open up lending, but then it also locks up after a little while, right? So it's never a fluid lending situation.
Yes.
And the biggest thing is that when you have a business, getting your financials done in time is the biggest task, right?
Yeah.
Because then we're weighing 2 things, right? If we get the financials done, hang on, I have to bring forward paying the tax.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if I want to continue investing, I need to get the financials done. So it's a juggling act. For especially when we hit this time of the year, being
busy,
being the end of the year, gets busier, and being a owner, being a business owner, it puts you in the harder category for the credit officers.
Yes.
And therefore, your deals take longer, or the brokers will say, okay, let's try it next year.
Yeah. So,
Get onto it early.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, basically.
keep on top of your paperwork.
That's true.
Keep on top of things. Yeah.
So obviously we got the lending sorted, and then we still had the flip bug in our head.
We did.
Yes.
No, I think it was. Did we contact you maybe around COVID?
It was around COVID.
It was
around COVID.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think
pretty much just within the weeks of lockdown.
I think so. And we were discussing things, and you go, it's getting a bit. It's just all things are starting to happen.
Yeah. I think probably one thing, Danny, you have learnt. He was in the process of refinancing everything, but just didn't get the paperwork back to the broker in time, and then lockdown came, and
they didn't want to know me.
They wouldn't refinance, and so we were bleeding thousands of dollars in repayments that we weren't planning on having to spend, but we couldn't refinance all of a sudden because of COVID.
Because you're no longer gainfully employed, right?
Yeah, because of aviation. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But it was a big lesson to when you're doing something, get onto it and do it straight away. Don't let it drag on.
Oh, look, I've got plenty of stories like that. Just before COVID, I had a 3-bedroom home that I was supposed to build in Logan in Queensland for $157,000. It
Right.
was cheap. Right?
Yeah.
But I thought, yeah, I'm a bit too busy. I'll get
Sign
to
that
it.
later,
I'll get
yeah.
to it. Yeah. Even had the DocuSign documents in my email.
Yeah.
Just didn't hit click. COVID came. I'm just finalizing that development now.
Wow.
$309,000.
Oh.
Yeah. So the price of procrastination.
It does. Yeah.
It does hurt.
It
does
hurts.
hurt.
It hurts. And yeah, we've learnt that the hard way too.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you're not employed, but you had a stack of cash at the time.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, we had just refinanced everything. Yeah, that's right. We just refinanced everything. We finally did that eventually. Then there was a little period where that we didn't go back to work again.
Yes.
So we were off for like 9 or 10 months, and then we went back for a little bit. Then in that time, we quickly refinanced everything, and we cashed out investments and things like that. And because things were starting to move,
Yes.
as well as you know.
Yeah.
And so.
And then, yeah, I think
And
there
then
was-
they went off again, for another 6 months. And so, but that's when we spoke to you about what we could do. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the first property was obviously Interstate
Yes.
in Victoria.
That's right.
And we wanted to try, well, we had a few options on this property, right? It could be a buy and hold.
Yeah.
It could be renovate and rent out. But we decided to renovate and sell.
Yes.
And used your skill set and got it staged and everything.
Yeah.
And got a record price for that suburb at that time.
Yeah.
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 So
Yeah.
how did you find that process? So not actually being on the tools and
good.
doing everything remote, and also with the overlay of COVID as well.
Yes. Yeah.
I think what helped really was the builder that we got down there. He wasn't the cheapest. He wasn't the most expensive,
Yep.
but he was, up above 50%, in that sort of range,
Yes.
And but he was excellent.
Yes.
He was excellent to deal with, and he would call us every night at 8 p.m. and just say, okay, "This is what we've done today."
Yep.
And we'll run for everything. Yep. And this is what we're doing tomorrow. But we had a schedule of works. So we said, this is what we want. This
Yep.
is the colours. This is each room. I want this. So it was literally he didn't have to ask us questions every day.
Yeah.
So that really,
So he had a plan for it.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
It was
Yeah.
well
Yes.
project managed.
very,
Yeah.
very detailed.
That was
yeah.
all ready to go before day one.
Before they
for
had the
him
keys.
starting.
Yeah.
So that he knew I wanted
Hit the
the
ground
skirting
running.
boards painted in this color. This was the tapware I wanted. These were the tiles. This is where you get the tiles from. So that he did not have to come and ask me every day,
Yeah.
what color do you want this? Just refer to the document.
Because he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
And so the workflow
He could plan.
was easy.
He could plan.
right?
It was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
And obviously he was your recommendation, in terms of a builder. But he was wonderful. He understood, we had a young child. And
Yes.
so he said, how about 8 p.m. every night? And we do a 10-minute phone call every night.
Yep.
And we got an update on what happened for the day. And that was great.
Yeah,
I
and
was-
it's really important, right? When you have these renovations happening, communication is the key. Renovations and builds, and builders, a good builder generally is notorious in terms of communication,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Because they're good at something,
Yeah.
and that's what they concentrate
Project managing
on.
and
Yes.
yeah.
So it's very rare to find that combination, and then of course you set the ground rules up front to say, hey, this is how you're going to communicate, and
Yeah.
so I'm going to test your memory now.
Yeah.
Numbers. Let's talk about numbers. How
Sure.
did we? So Bethany is just pointing to Danny.
Danny's the numbers man.
I'm okay at numbers. We did okay on that one. It was we paid $360 for that place, $360,000.
Yep.
Yeah. And it dragged on a little bit, so our holding costs sort of crept up a little bit. And the renovation, it was just on 100,000. Yeah, it was
It
pretty.
was initially quoted a fair bit less, I
fair
think.
bit less,
and it-
but things.
But crept up.
Yeah,
yeah,
things
crept up.
blow
and-
out, and they find new things that are need to replace all the gas work or what things
Yeah.
pop up. And we had trouble selling it initially. Yeah, and then we ended up renting it out for a little bit, and then the buyer who was going to buy it initially, he pulled out, and then after we rented it out, he came back and said, "Yep, I want to buy it now." He had sorted out his finances and all that, and then we sold it straight away. So
Yeah.
that was that one there. Yeah.
Yeah. So you made a decent profit out of it. It wasn't something
wasn't-
spectacular.
no,
It's not
we
something
just-
you'd rave about.
Yeah.
A bit over 30,000.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. 550 we sold it for. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a bit over 30,000 just after everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything's said and done. And
We
Yeah.
sort of looked at it as, we couldn't buy anything.
Yeah.
We were sort of stuck. So we thought, well, 30 grand's better than nothing because we would have
Yes,
had
yeah.
zero
For a
otherwise
bunch
if
of
we
phone
did
calls.
nothing.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Not bad.
And-
10-minute phone
and
call
there
every
was
night.
no real risk on it because even
No.
as a buy and hold, it worked.
yeah, that's right. If it we just rented out. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and it was a
fine.
nice little place too. It's
great.
You know, close
Yeah.
to shops and things.
So obviously now we've got the systems and procedures in place for,
Yes.
for renovations. And what happened next?
We went to up to Brisbane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bought that huge block there.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think from memory, 1,013
That's
square
right.
meters.
Very good memory. Yep.
yeah,
I looked it up.
yeah, good. I'm glad you said it.
That was 550. That place.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's certainly gone up in value. And
Yeah.
we picked it up again. No one was looking at larger blocks because everyone wanted nice, neat little places.
Yeah.
Yes.
This one was rough around the edges, and we had to do a bit of work to it as well.
No kitchen.
No
Remember
kitchen.
that?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
No
Okay.
kitchen.
I don't know how people live there.
I think the man that lived there, I think he did his own.
Did he?
A few little renos that he
Yep.
did
Oh,
himself.
okay, that's right.
And I
Yeah, we
think he just
found
had
them
a little
out.
cooktop or something.
Yeah, we found those renos out at the end.
All the gaswork.
Yeah.
But I think that property in particular, it 2 doors down, there was pretty much the same house.
The precedent was set.
You know,
Yeah.
The precedence was set, and then they had a dual key on the back.
Yep.
And it was clear as day. The block size were pretty well the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Zoning
The
was the
houses-
same as well.
So
Yeah.
same. It's like, this is a good buy.
This is-
Yeah.
yeah. And typical sort of Queenslander, type house. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So apart from doing the renovation, just make it habitable, you haven't done anything to this
No.
property as yet,
No.
right?
No.
And one of the things we were discussing off air is that maybe it's time to pull the trigger on it and do
Yeah.
a development on it.
Pretty soon.
yeah.
Yeah, so that would mean that at the very least we'll put a duplex at the back,
Yeah.
which will certainly increase the value, and then we can then choose to either separate the titles
Yeah.
or just keep it under the one title, right?
Yep.
So it just brings a new element to the portfolio where we're not buying, but we are creating
That's
the
right.
rental income streams. Because it's all about how we can control multiple rental income streams.
Yeah.
And this is something that we've owned this now for 3.5 years.
3.5. Yeah.
3.5
Yeah.
years. So it's not bad at all. And we've postponed the development so that there's enough equity in the property. So it becomes a standalone deal as opposed to leaning on the equity of the acreage, leaning on the equity of the other properties we hold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this is one of the mistakes that I made in the early days of my investing, is that I was too early and too eager to pull the trigger to materialize the full strategy on the property.
Sure.
And then
Yes.
one delay has a knock-on effect
Sure.
on everything, and it actually starts eroding all of the equity you've got in the other properties, because now you have to chip in money to hold on to that mistake.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this is why we've staged it, so that it's now we start off considering, okay, apart from just adding to the portfolio, let's go back and work on the ones we've already
Yeah.
got.
What we've got. Yeah.
So obviously that was a foray in Brisbane. You already had exposure in Queensland.
Yeah.
We've added another, but a different type of property.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There. And so what was next after that?
Over to Perth.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Over to Perth. Yeah.
In a super fund.
Yeah, the super fund. That's
Yeah.
right. Yep.
Yeah.
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 That was a couple of years ago now. So we're about 2.5 years ago, thereabouts.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just when the market was
Yeah.
Just starting.
ripening.
Yeah.
over
It was
there.
pretty
Yeah.
ripe. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good place there. It's a 3-bedroom house
Mhm.
on a larger block too.
Yep.
Around 700-800 squares or thereabouts. Yeah. Within
Good,
that
good
10,
zoning.
10 Ks from the city as well. Yeah, good zone near trains and all
Yeah.
sorts of stuff.
What did we buy this at?
That was 520.
520. Yep. And the rent on it at the moment?
It's just a bit over 600. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah. So it'd still be room
Yep.
for movement for that rent.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
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 Yep.
And in terms of super, obviously, still a little bit negative when you do the sums.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, yep. Although we got the other place in our super that it's quite
It's
positive.
sort of offset. Yeah.
yeah, offsets the cash flow.
That's
and things
right.
Like that. Yeah.
And this
Yeah.
is what I call pigeon pairing, right? So
Yeah.
you've got a heavy positive cash flow
Yeah.
property, and we've gone deliberately got
Yeah.
a zoned property, which is going to be, I think from memory,
Pretty
it was about
interesting.
12 to 15K negative
Yep,
after you take
that's
everything
right.
into account.
Yeah.
And they offset each other.
Yeah.
And it's as if those properties don't really exist when you take the holistic approach.
Yeah.
In terms
And
of
then-
They pair them together.
Yeah,
They-
that's right.
It cancels it out
Mhm.
basically.
Yeah. And then obviously at some point in time, we'll look at the development potential of it after getting some advice and structuring it the correct way so that we can legally develop in the super fund.
Yep.
yes.
And obviously there's a whole lot of nuances in that being a heavily regulated entity.
Would be
Yes.
Yeah, and probably would be the last one that will pull the trigger on in terms
Sure.
of development
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah. I think so too.
Mhm.
So,
So that's the super fund squared away, obviously.
yes.
Yeah.
And then we...
Later on that year, I think you didn't. There was a video came online.
Yes.
We were talking about this off air.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he said, "Oh, there's some places coming up for sale. You know, just give us a call."
Yep.
I think I emailed you saying
I think it was a Thursday night. The video came out.
Yeah, and the auction was on Saturday.
It was on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said, "Do you reckon we need something like this?" And you said, "Yes."
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
Because the video I put out was saying, "Hey, this is an opportunity."
Yeah.
With the agent reaching out to me saying there isn't not a whole lot of interest in these auction rounds. These were the government housing auctions.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I put a video out to say, hey, this is a very short time frame. If you feel like you're ready, reach out, and I'll then assess whether it's suitable for your portfolio, and then we can go to the auction.
Yes.
And so we went to the auction.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I was away, but Beth went there.
I think
you
I
were pregnant.
heavily, I think I was
Yes,
pregnant.
that's right.
I had Ted with me, and I think the Friday I looked through all of the pest and building reports on all 4 of them, and then that Saturday morning I quickly dragged Ted around to every open home, all 4 of them back to back, and the auction was straight afterwards. So. I remember standing there with you. You know, I think we tried on one, but we missed out, and then we got the next one.
And this is where it is really important, right? When you're at auctions, and even any negotiation, right? The price is the price.
That's
right.
right.
We don't go above that.
Yep.
Because there's always another opportunity around the corner.
Absolutely.
You don't get emotionally involved in the process.
Yeah.
You get emotionally involved in the result.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I think
that was a renovation place as well.
Yes.
There was. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
it
was. Needed a little bit of touching up. Yeah, they needed a bit of TLC.
Yes.
Haircut and a shave, they usually say.
Yes, that's right.
That's right.
Yes.
It wasn't too much. You know, it was just paint, new flooring, new bench top,
New
gardens tidied up.
Vanities, things like that. Yeah.
Nothing
Ceiling
major.
fans.
Yep.
Yeah, new lights.
Yeah.
And there was a great big tree at the backyard as well.
Yeah, it's still there.
It's
yeah,
still there.
It's still
I
there.
think there's 2.
But that's got to go because we were talking. Yeah, we should.
We should put a granny flat there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So
because everywhere, literally,
next
next door's got one. Everyone's got one. Yeah.
And that was a
It's
no-brainer
changing.
as well.
Yeah.
With the suburb changing and just
Crazy.
It is crazy, right?
yeah.
In the sense that was heavy housing commission, but the sell down has changed the demographics of it significantly, and now you have several knockdown and rebuilds. There's schools that are starting to perform in the area. There's a shopping center going in. So we were picking it up at the right stage.
Yeah.
And then we're helping our way because we are renovating to add value straight away. So our exit strategy is very clear on that property.
Yes.
Yep.
And even if it hadn't worked out in the way we had envisioned it to work out, we could always sell down and walk away with the money.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that one in particular, it was a no-brainer. You know, literally right behind us, it was new housing suburbs going in, and they were really tiny blocks, like half the size of what we had bought, selling for way more money than what we had just purchased. But they were brand new, obviously. But it was huge development going in.
Amazing.
And all of the, just
so
average houses.
now you've got the renovation bug.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely got the renovation.
Well,
we love
actually-
it.
Yeah.
We love it.
And then
You've done one or two renovations.
They started getting a bit curlier after that,
Yes,
didn't
of course. Yeah, because I upped the ante a bit,
You
right?
did up the ante.
You do.
It's like, okay, well, you think you've learned everything. Let's learn a few new things, right?
I did not want to buy that next property. I think one of your team members, convinced me and just said, it is fine. We'll
We'll hold your hand through it.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Oh, God.
But
So
it was an interesting
let's
one.
talk about this property.
Yeah. So that was that was a little bit later. That was about 8 or 9 months later or so. Yeah, we bought that place, and same sort of area, very similar, different suburb.
Yep.
But it had a lot of. It hadn't been lived in for a long time. Yeah. A lot of vegetation,
trees.
Yep. You couldn't see the house.
Yes.
From
There
the
was
front.
From the front. at
But a
all.
great
So
street.
it had hidden potential. Is that what it
did.
is?
Literally hidden.
Diamond in the rough.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful street. Yeah. But once we tidied it up, it looks really good.
And so what did you buy this at?
That was in what year was that? That was 2020, late 22.
Like 22.
Late 22.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the price on it? Was it 5?
No, 670.
670. Yep.
670.
Yep.
Yep.
We had competition on it in the end.
We did,
right?
yeah.
So
We did, yeah.
we actually had to
Yep.
increase our offer.
Yep.
And there was a conflicting sale across the road
Across the
that
road.
was cheaper.
It was. That's
and it
right.
was tidier.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is where
There
knowing
was-
the history
Correct.
is really important, right? Because the cheaper house in inverted commas was termite damaged, whereas ours was unlived, needed plumbing,
Yes.
but it had a better block and a better development potential
Yes.
than the other one.
Yes,
With
I think
regards
with
to
the
sewage as well.
Yes.
yeah,
there
with the
was,
pipes and
yeah.
yeah.
Because the other block that was cheaper, you couldn't really build on it because you had 2 easements in the backyard.
That's
Yes.
right.
That made the backyard pretty much redundant.
Yeah.
Whereas ours was clear.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we spent a little bit of time cleaning this up.
Yes.
A little bit.
A
Few
lot of
surprises.
a lot of trees.
Yeah.
Oh, I think the pest and building report showed where the trees are.
Yeah.
So it had
there was
roots
just-
underneath the house.
Yeah.
We
This
thought
is
they
on
were
piers.
pipes.
Yeah.
We thought they were pipes in the building report, and then I zoomed in a bit more, and I thought, hang on, no, they're tree roots. That
Yep.
they were huge,
Mm.
Yep.
and it had
Yep.
cracked some pipes and
And some of the piers were
On a lean.
yeah,
Mhm.
non-existent at summer as well.
Yes.
Yeah, so there was a fair bit of time spent under the house
Yeah,
on that
it
one.
took about upping the ante, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
you did. You did. You know, it was more of a structural.
You see you just
know.
laughing in the background. But like you said, we took your advice on that one.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it really paid off. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
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 So we spent what, circa 50? on
Yeah,
it?
just under. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
But-
Yeah. So new everything. Except bathroom.
We
yeah.
didn't do the
Yeah.
bathroom,
Yeah.
but new flooring, paint,
Yep.
kitchen,
Yeah.
cleaned up the backyard. So it's pretty much
That
just
took the
grass
most
everywhere.
time,
We don't
yeah.
Yeah.
do like really fancy gardens and
Mhm.
things.
Yeah. Just
But I
make it
think as well
tidy.
we
It's tidy.
kind of have the same approach. We do the same kitchen,
Same
we do the same
colours.
colours, same
Yeah.
flooring.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need to make it hard.
Yes.
You know.
Same ceiling fans. I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't want to complicate things and reinvent the wheel every time.
Yeah, absolutely. So what was the end result with that property?
Well, we still got it, yeah, and we got it revalued at it was a little bit over 800, I think, at the time.
At
That
the
was-
time,
yeah,
yeah,
that was
yeah.
a little while ago now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So today it'll be in the nines, obviously.
Yeah, I'll probably-
and the plan with that is that at some point in time we'll do a development. That's the one that
Yeah.
we're not that ultra keen to do the development right now on that
Yes.
because the least best use on it is to put a granny flat on it.
Yes.
The best use we're still evaluating because that zoning's changing in that area, and
That's
there's
true.
several
Things
different avenues we can play with.
Yeah.
Eventually, this would become the cash cow of the portfolio because of the different developments we can do on it. Yeah. And then we went further afield, obviously,
That's
after
right.
that. So this was a surprise as well.
This was another
Yeah.
surprise.
Yes.
It was literally
Yes.
a month later, I
Mhm.
think. Yeah, literally a month later, we got
Yep.
you called me saying, "Hey, we got something.
Mhm.
You need to call me straight away."
Yep.
Yeah.
And then that was a place down
Down south.
Dapto.
Dapto.
Yep.
Yep.
Mhm.
Dapto.
I think you pretty well got in the car, or you might have just seen it, and then
I'd
you
just
called
seen it, yep,
Danny,
yep.
and you said
Yeah.
you should buy this.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I think again it was going. It had just come, or maybe you had just
Just
seen
come
it
It
online.
just
just
before.
literally hit the market that day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep, and you went and saw it that
Mhm.
day.
Yeah.
And I think you were trying to get it before it,
Before
went
the
to-
open
before
home
the
on
open
Saturday.
house.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
that was what it was.
Yeah.
So
Which
yeah.
we did. Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
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 And the biggest thing was that you had a wad of cash behind you. You're always
We did.
refinancing. You're always pulling money back out.
Yeah.
Cash ready all
Yeah.
the time.
So
yeah.
so
yeah.
we could go very sure-footed to say, hey, we'll buy this.
Yep.
There's no finance clause. We can buy this without a cool off.
Yes.
We've done our visual inspection. We've done our pest and bills. We can buy this pretty much right now.
Yep.
Yes.
And that's very powerful when you score a deal like this because the money was in the purchasing, not necessarily waiting for the market to move.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
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 The-
So we've
yeah.
sort of done that a few times, haven't we? You can sort of buy in cash as such and then refinance
Yeah,
later.
So
but
the
it has a
auction
lot of
happened with
pull.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. The auction happened like that one. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, you buy it in cash and then refinance later,
Mhm.
but it means that you can 100% buy it.
That's right.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we knew that
can
we
buy
could get
quickly.
financing.
Yeah. That's
Yes.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. So we
Yeah.
had the broker on side as well.
Ready to
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
But we had the cash behind us to say, okay, big deposit or full purchase price.
Yes.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
It
go with
means
this.
You
Yeah.
can sort of jump on something within a day,
Mhm.
and you're not sort of worrying about a finance.
And the
things
agents probably
that.
like that anyway.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
do.
they-
It's
yeah,
less
well, the-
hassle.
less
right?
hassle, yeah.
Yeah.
They know the deal's done
Yeah.
because it's an unconditional contract, right?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
pretty much it was like a quasi auction. You're buying it in auction, but it wasn't
Yes.
an auction. You
Yes.
just made an unconditional offer.
Because there was a
on
bit
it.
of competition on that one too.
There was
like,
there was
fair
a bit.
bit.
was.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a big block.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Very
Yeah.
close to town.
Yeah.
Yeah. The zoning's going to probably change again on that as well.
Yeah,
maybe.
it will.
Yeah.
So we're pretty much right in town on the fringes of town over
Yep.
there, and there's a lot of developments happening all around.
Yep.
So obviously that the portfolio is taken a tilt based on your skill set. It's taken a tilt of, okay, we're adding value straight away by doing renovations,
Yep.
right?
Yes.
But we're also accumulating all these properties that we can come back to later
Yes.
and do something with, so that no pun intended, when you're grounded,
Yeah.
That's right.
you can actually tinker along with the portfolio, right? So
Yeah.
it's setting it up so that
Yeah.
we're looking at the end vision, and the end vision is, okay, we do all these developments within the portfolio,
Yeah.
pays out the lifestyle property,
Yep.
gives you residual income along the way, and your business income and your PAYG income comes in and complements it while we're building it up.
Yes.
So obviously there's a rapid accumulation of properties.
Yes.
How many properties have you got, apart from the super, how many properties have you got under your belt at the moment?
Seven.
Seven. Yep.
Yeah. Plus the homes, that's eight.
Eight.
I suppose.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you've got 2 in the super.
Yep.
Yeah. And of the 7, I think 4 of them would be multiple dwelling properties.
Absolutely.
That we can come in.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. In coming times.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. See, one of the things people need to consider is that when they're accumulating property, we're not really accumulating property, we're accumulating rental income streams.
Yes.
Yes.
There's a soft cost involved in accumulating rental income streams because you've got stamp duty, you've got solicitors' fees, you've got my fee, and then you've got all of the ancillary that come in with buying. So you're looking at circa 50K for each rental income stream.
Yeah.
And if we are able to then build our own rental income stream,
You have to pay that. Yeah.
we've done away with the soft cost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we're also picking up what I call the builder's margin, where you're building them cheaper than what you'd be able to sell them for,
Yeah.
and it creates instant equity in that. Plus, then even though tax shouldn't be the reason to invest, you've got the depreciation coming with the new builds as well, along with the renovations you've done as well, which is fantastic as well, right? So it ties in beautifully with what can happen. Young family, business. You've got a profession which could turn on its head at any point in time.
Yeah, it has. Yeah.
And it's a journey that's really it started off with a unit. Started off with Singleton. With the renovation, and over the years we've honed it down. We've got a lifestyle property. And then we've changed tax and said, okay, let's use our skill set and build this portfolio that's purely renovation based, right?
Yeah, a lot of them are.
Yeah. If you were to do it all over again, what would you change?
Not a lot really, to be honest. People say, I'd buy a lot more, but I think we did it at a comfortable pace.
Yep.
Even
though it doesn't seem that way when you look at it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But you've got to have that sleep at night factor as well.
Yes.
The things are gonna, in case, you just want to be comfortable. Yeah. So we were talking about that, and
I think the only thing I would have changed, there was that one lifestyle property that we wanted to buy.
We really,
and we were $100,000 too short.
That's
I think we probably,
we're still
in
upset
hindsight, I wish we'd asked our parents for some money.
Yeah.
Because that property, I think we went to 1.2 on that.
Yep.
And it sold for 1.3. Was it 2 years? 2 years later, it sold for 3.3.
Ouch.
Yeah. And so we were devastated. It's $2 million.
That was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So you can imagine what it is
what
now.
it is
Yes.
now. And so, that's probably my only regret is probably not asking for some money,
You
for
just
some
don't
help.
know.
But that's hindsight. You don't know.
Hindsight.
Yeah.
But
so,
otherwise,
so don't be afraid to stretch, is what you're trying to say, right?
Yeah.
I think
everything else I don't think we regret, even doing the renovation, say down in Melbourne, that we did, it wasn't a huge profit, but we don't regret it either. 30 grand's better than nothing.
That's right. Especially at the time when the job was very shaky.
That's right. Yep.
And it set the tone for the rest of the portfolio as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we had to get it out of the system, right? Get the flip out of our system
That's
as
right.
well.
We've done that now.
Yeah. So obviously with the portfolio that you have and the interest rates the way they are, where does it sit from a cash flow point of view? Are we neutral? Are we heavily negative? Where are we sitting?
It's negative, yeah. It's negative, yeah. To the tune of probably about $1,000 a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it is still comfortable to hold on to that, yeah.
Yep.
And we're talking before tax.
Before tax.
Yeah.
Before tax, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so things obviously change after that. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
that's right.
So, so it definitely is negative. But I suppose once we do a granny on the back on a few, maybe one or two places, that will definitely change.
That'll wash it out. Yeah.
And also, if the rate changes by not much, that will change a lot too. You know, that cash flow figure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And how often do you look at your finances in terms of loans and lenders? Often.
Danny looks at numbers, I think, every week. He's always got a spreadsheet open.
Yeah, just
You're
to keep an eye
always
what we can change and what we can make things. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we're refinancing at the moment, or planning
getting close to.
Yes.
Yeah. A few just come off that really nice, sweet interest
2%.
only.
The 2%.
Yeah,
2%.
It's really good, wasn't it?
How
It
rude
was
of
great.
them.
I know, it was
Come
great.
on.
I know.
Anyway, so they've got to be, because they're going to PNI now. But we need to convert them back and reset them again.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's and that will change that figure again. And so there's just, it's continually changing, all that sort of stuff. So but like you got to hold things, and it's got to be comfortable holding them. Yeah, because they will grow over time. But it's just how much you can hold them.
That's right. And repairs and maintenance in the portfolio, seeing that they're older properties?
Not too. It's more just, like a washer or something in the bathroom. Or
it's very.
I think we've gone through, more those Gold Coast ones. I felt like there was always something happening.
There was something happening
there
for a while. Then we did some pretty major renovations on one or two of them there.
Yeah.
Bathroom and a kitchen.
Yeah, pretty major. And then now there's nothing. you never get a phone call about it. Because it's all sort of new again.
Yes.
But prior to that, it was quite often you were getting some phone calls. Yeah.
But I think the more freestanding houses, the ones we've bought and then we renovated before it rented out, we really don't get phone calls about those ones.
It's pretty rare.
Because it fixed all the moving parts.
We have.
Yeah. So we don't really have issues with them. So that's good.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And where to from here?
Where to?
Sky's the limit.
I thought that's your
that's your job.
That's your question.
That's what we ask you, isn't it?
That's right. And this is
that's why we have a strategist like yourself.
And I take my role seriously, right? Because there are times where we should stop buying, and recalibrate, right? And I think that in the portfolio, perhaps that's the next move, is recalibrating, looking at putting a granny flat up, looking at least getting the DA for the subdivision and dual occupancy in
that'd be
Brisbane.
interesting. I've never done any of that sort of stuff, so just to get the framework of how all that works.
That's right.
Really good.
And you hadn't done interstate renovations before as well.
No,
I haven't.
It's not as hard as you think.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. So any parting words of advice to the listeners as to from your journey, what lessons you've taken and what advice you'd give them?
I just thought one of those things. I thought about this question, and I would say to if you want to get something done, do it straight away. Yeah, do it straight away. Don't wait. If you've got loan documents, and I'll just do them on the weekend. No, just stay out till 2 a.m. and get it done. Yeah, because I learnt that way, and I didn't do it, and I let it go, and things it
gets more expensive.
It gets more expensive, and nothing happens, and then so don't put things off. Just keep on top of those sort of things. I think that's really important. Because you can get a lot of emails if you've got a few properties.
Yep.
And if you don't reply to them straight away, then it banks up. So just keep on top of things and just keep running it.
I think, like for you, Danny, you ended up setting up a new email address specifically just for property things, so it's a lot easier to manage.
Yeah, so you know when they come in. Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
I think also, just keeping on top of your paperwork and knowing your numbers. I know, for Danny, he has his spreadsheet out every week, and it says, what the interest rate is, when that interest rate is coming off.
Even
when the loan.
Insurances and things like that, when they're expiring. And
when the rental expires, you've just got to have a spreadsheet for everything.
So really managing it through. Really. And down.
So important, because things can slide, go down. Yeah. Quickly.
You can miss it.
You can miss things, and then it's costly. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll ask you this question, Beth.
Okay.
What would you tell since you're still 21, what will you tell your 21-year-old self about investing?
I think save as much as you can. You know, you don't need the fancy things straight away. You know that the sooner you can buy something and be in the market, the better off you are in the long run. And even when you are in your 20s, you probably still need to be thinking about retirement. And I know it sounds crazy, but you really need to be planning for that, because it takes a long time to either, you know, save money or buy property.
Build wealth,
you know, and be able to retire comfortably. And I know it's something when you're in your 20s, you really don't think of that.
You want to talk about
you don't think of it at all, but you really need to think about it so that you can be living comfortably. So, save and don't buy all the fancy stuff that you do not need. It brings you instant happiness, and 2 days later, you're not even interested in it anymore.
True. What about you, Danny?
I think I was going to say, I just got a mental blank. Sorry about that. It was getting a good team behind you. Basically, those I would tell myself, just they're so important people to lean on. So your buyer's agents, your brokers, really good accountant. It's so important. That you can, and people that you're comfortable talking to. You know, you don't feel you have to better not call them because they're busy. So no, you really need to call them because you got a pretty important question and things like that.
I think as well, like if you're being told no, like for us, like we went through a few brokers and we just kept getting told no, we can't look after you. And we eventually found someone that said yes.
The amount of people that said, you can't buy that because, you know, I can't, they won't lend me the money. It's like, how hard have you tried? You know? How, you know, and they go, he said I couldn't do it, or they said I couldn't do it. So no, just
keep asking the question.
Ask someone else.
Find someone who will lend us money.
Just keep going. Yeah, that's what I'd tell everyone, really.
You know, the old Amway thing, right? The next no gets you closer to your yes.
Yes.
Very true.
So how many no's have you got?
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Look, it's been fantastic. We could continue talking about this because I can see that both of you are passionate about your journey, and I'm passionate about helping you too, right? Because it's been a journey certainly, and
it has.
You've been very reactive to the opportunities, which has been the testimony for the success of the portfolio.
I don't think we've ever said no, have we?
No.
When you bring a property to our attention, I don't think we've ever turned one down. You know, because they all have a purpose. So
they do.
And I think as well, having someone like yourself, you know, in our team, it pushes us that bit further. That you might have a property coming up on the weekend, and we think, we weren't really looking, but you know what? If it suits us, then we'll get it. And I think having someone there, it pushes us that bit further, and you know, makes things happen.
It'd be tough doing it by yourself.
Like you said, teamwork, right?
Yeah.
So it's getting the right team around us. So I hope, guys, you've enjoyed this. It's been a really good journey. And if you've got further questions at rightpropertygroup.com.au. Don't keep us a secret. Certainly share this, depending on which platform you're listening to. Hit the share button or hit the subscribe or like button. And we can then share Danny and Bethany's journey on your social networks. Beth, before we go, a plug for your business.
Oh, thank you. You're too good.
So it's called Old Little Styling Company.
The Little Styling Co.
And you are based in Sydney. And you do home styling, and you're really good at it. I can personally attest to that because I've used your services.
Yes, you have. Thank you.
So look them up. Certainly worth exploring if you are looking at selling your property. And until next time, bye-bye.
The information featured in this podcast is general in nature, does not take into consideration your financial situation or individual needs, and should not be relied upon. Before making any investment, insurance, tax, property, or financial planning decision, you should consult a licensed professional who can advise whether your decision is appropriate for you.